Oh, we're live. Well, we don't even have the lights on, Damo. Shit. G'day. We're back. We're running kind of a bit late today, but, you know. Episode 67, though. Tonight we got Benny G on. Swap the cameras, Damo.
G'day. Thank you very much for having me.
By the way, big ups to your hat right there, Bass Watch. Like, they have been killing it in the scene.
Yeah, gotta rep the merch.
So Andy Carpenter, he's amazing.
Those are mental. Like, who thought drum and bass pool party? Like,
yeah, and it just works, right? It just
goes hard.
It just works. So, who are you and what do you do? Because I always start it like this.
Okay, well, my name is Benny G. I'm a drum and bass DJ, I guess. Budding producer. I've only got, 3 bootlegs under my belt, but got to start somewhere. And event organizer. I love drum and bass. I love everything to do with the scene, and I'm just going to put everything I have into it. So.
Yeah. So what events do you run? And how did you get into the scene? Like you were just telling me just before, and like you're going to repeat yourself just a little bit.
So basically, back in high school, I think I was in like year 6 or 7. A friend showed me a song, and it was called Witchcraft. By Pendulum. And immediately, like, the build-up was like hell good because I'd listened to nothing but like pop and everything before that, and then the build-up was like, oh, this is pretty good, and then the drop, it was just, what is this? And I immediately fell in love. And then after he showed me, I went home and I looked up Pendulum. I found their Immersion Deluxe album, and I was like, I mean, look, I have to buy it. Like, I got it. Yeah. And I listened to all the songs.
Support your local artist.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I didn't even know that then. I was like, this is awesome. So I loved about 90% of the tracks on there. Like, they were so good. But I didn't know it was drum and bass. Like, I was just listening to it and I was like, this is amazing. And then, 10 years later, I went to Origin Music Festival, like just before lockdown. And I didn't know that was like 80% drum and bass as well. Like everything at Origin. I was at the Sunset stage with like Noisia, all that, Kings of the Rollers. And I was like, this is amazing. And then a couple months later, someone was like, yeah, that's drum and bass. And I was like,
wait,
oh my God.
It just clicks,
I like this genre. So yeah, that's, I've always loved it, but I never knew what it was. And
have you been to Breakfest or anything like that as well?
I haven't been to Breakfest.
Neither, but I've been told that it's the place.
It's on the list. I was going to go, but everything got cancelled.
That's COVID and the whole lot. So you were saying that before, like you started during the COVID lockdown.
Oh yeah, so I've always had a passion for music. Yeah, I always had a passion for music, and in high school I was in the music club, like orchestras and all that. I played piano since I was like 6 or whatever, so I love music. And then at the beginning of lockdown, throughout high school I was like, oh, I want to get into mixing. I want to like DJ, that kind of stuff. And then at the beginning of lockdown in March, like 2020, I just went out and bought a set of decks. I bought a DDJ 1000 and then...
Look it up.
And all through lockdown, I was just pouring all my spare time over that, just mixing everything and just having fun with it. And then... Yeah, I think about 2 months after I had my decks, I fully got into drum and bass. And then my friend was like, have you heard of the double drop? And I was like, what do you mean the double drop?
What is this? What is this witchcraft?
And then he showed me something like Bunker double drop with like Worth the Lie or something. And I was like, bro. And I just fell in love.
Oh, so like those ones?
No. DDJ.
Okay, yeah, I was about to say, it's like with the white dot AQ, that shit would have been ridiculous to play on.
That's the next step on my story arc. So I spent 4 months on that, and then me and my mate, Spoilers One, we were together, we both had DDJ 1000s, and then he was like, well, I need to get CDJs. So he sold it, yeah, that's the one up there. Yeah. And so he sold his 1000, and he bought 3 CDJ 900s. Which are the ones with the dots.
Oh, really?
No waveforms.
Yeah.
Old school. And that's I just went around there and I was like, what is this? How do I use this no waveform?
Yeah, what is this old technology, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, and then that's, I feel like practicing on 900s, catapulted, my skill level.
Well, it's the dedication to it as well. It's
true.
If you want to do it and you do it and then you learn it and then it's learning on old school equipment, it can help. But I mean, it's like what I was saying before as well. I'm just controller. I literally just look at waveforms and stuff like that. But that's just the way I've always done it, though.
Yeah.
Which is one of those things.
Yeah, waveform is it's good and it's great. It's such a helpful tool because on the new 3000s, they've introduced half waveform, or I think full waveforms on the top bar.
On the top bar, what in the wait?
Yeah,
wait,
so you know how on like 2000s just got like the 4 bars that click across.
Yeah,
now
yeah.
on the 3000s they've got like the waveform at the top there.
Okay.
So you can fully waveform. Like it's the future, but like up until then, even if you had the bars, they could be out. Like you still had to like listen and try and like move them in.
Well, that's it. Yeah,
So.
It's one of those things as well. It's like I say this to a few of my guests, where it's like, you know, if you try and mix things like say old school Fleetwood Mac, it's like it's never in the beat grid. It's since it's an analog recording from, you know, back in the day.
Yeah.
They were in the 80s, 70s?
They were the 70s.
70s, yeah.
Any song that was recorded by a band is like a nightmare for a DJ.
Oh, it
Unless
can
it's
be,
been
yeah.
like edited to properly line up with the grid, like they're never consistent. That's just because they were recorded by a band.
That's why it's so much fun, in my opinion, though. Because when I go out and about and I play, say, like AC/DC and stuff like that, it's all over the place. But on Tractor, you can kind of like, you put the cue point, not the cue points, you set the grid throughout the track. So you can set up like 3 or 4 different like lines where you'll actually start the beat grid from there. So that way it's like I can loop different parts, or I can actually cue point and jump backwards and forwards.
That's
But
pretty
it's
good.
it's the trickery of doing it, though. It's
Just part of the art.
that's it, yeah.
the craft.
Part of one of those things. So after that, like, what happened after you got your DDJ 1000? Then you went CDJ 900s, and then
Yeah, so my mate that like we both bought DDJ 1000 at the same time. Spoilers. He had his birthday coming up, and it was just out of lockdown or something, and people were allowed to host house parties. So we threw a massive party in the backyard of his house. He had like this shed, and we had this contact with like this dude who has like sound and lighting equipment. We got him to come in. We set up a full stage in this dude's shed. We had a podium, and we had like banners on either side, and they said like shed on each side. It was mental. The top banner above the DJ said Shed Shenanigans. It was so good. Had the decks, the speakers, the lighting. We had like 100 people. I swear to you, like 100 people in this shed. It was
how big was
mental.
the shed though? Like,
not big at all. Sorry about that.
no, it's all good. It's all good.
Not big at all. It was
What, like a little bit
it was
bigger
cramped.
than this room?
We were
Like-
packed. Yeah, probably about the size of this room.
No shit.
We were packed like sardines. I'll just make sure this doesn't like ring again.
Yeah, that's all good.
Fucking-
Yeah. As I said, guys, we ran a little bit late today. It's fine though.
But it was so we that night was mental. We had like a backstage area. We were just like sitting on beanbags behind the DJ, and there was this crowd in front of us. Some dude got on another dude's shoulder, slapped out a fluorescent light globe from like the light, and it like smashed on the ground.
What,
and
did it go on anyone or anything like that?
They didn't go on anyone.
Oh, thank
But
God,
like,
yeah.
we were all so drunk that all the boys just sort of looked at it for a second and then started like shuffling on the glass. And the girls were like trying to clean it up, and we're just
Oh,
like
God.
rinsing out.
That shit's so
Mental
sharp
night.
though. You gotta be careful.
Yeah,
It goes through
so
your shoes
bad.
and everything.
And then some dude got like fully pushed in like a mosh pit, sent across the shed. Mental. We sorry almost got concussion though. It was hilarious. But yeah, the
Sounds
next
like it,
morning
yeah.
after everyone went home, like there was about 20 of us just sitting out the back, like on the grass, just still drinking. The sun was coming up. We were like, last night was amazing. Like that was mental. We could take that somewhere and charge entry for it. And I was like, yeah, we can.
Start of something good, I guess.
Started
Like-
something amazing.
Yeah.
So like, I fully, me and Spoilers, we took it upon ourselves, and we're like, well, let's get in contact with some venues and get a lineup and get ticket sales, and boom, boom, boom. One thing led to another, and Shed Shenanigans was born.
How long did it take for you guys to like set it all up and stuff like that? And, like, you gotta ask the
about
questions.
6
but-
weeks, I think. 6 weeks. Because
that's
we
not
had
bad.
we're pretty lucky because in our friend group we had a guy who does graphic design. So we just hit him up, was like, hey, we want a graphic for this, blah, 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 blah. Set up a Facebook page, banner, everything, boom, 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 was all done within the week, announced Shed like 5 weeks before the actual event, and just started selling tickets. And
That's what, did you go through a ticket company as well? Or did, like,
yeah, so we went through the venue's ticket company. So we were at the
yeah.
sewing room.
Yeah.
And then they were like, okay, you have to use our ticketing company. We're like, okay, no stress.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Like
And,
for your baby steps and all that, that's
Yeah,
easy.
it was easy stepping stone.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, the first night was a huge success. Like, so many people turned out, and boom, Shed was born. And this was only like I'd like to say maybe a month, not even, after like clubs opened.
No shit, really? So like really fresh to the scene.
Really fresh. Friday night, we managed to secure a date. Like, I don't know why they gave us a date. We're just some random nobodies emailing on like my own Gmail account. Like, hey, give us a night. Like, we can bring people to your club. And they're like, okay.
Well, that's usually like the selling point. It's like, if you can bring people, all right, yeah, give it a go.
Yeah, so and it was successful.
Just got to be careful with places like Villa and stuff like that. Like, I've been told a few stories where it's like, unless you make a certain amount of money, you got to pay them a certain amount of money, which is pretty full on, unfortunately. But
yeah, there's a lot of like liability that comes with like making an event.
That's it, yeah. Well, that's exactly it, because like you got to keep them successful, and that's where it's like the really good events shine through. It's like I was saying this the other week to Emily and Harley, where it's like in Inhibit, you know, they throw an event, it'll just sell out because it's Inhibit. Yeah, everyone knows Inhibit.
Inhibit, like they always book some international headliner or you know floaters, like Terrence and Phil, like Echo and Sidetrack.
That's it, yeah, and away they go, and just bam, people will flock to it.
Yeah, exactly. But like Inhibit's been in the game for like 20 years now.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time.
They've like built such a good fan base, and like they deserve everything they're getting. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So then, like, what were some of the struggles you found when trying to throw your first event? Were there any struggles or anything that you found like a learning curve almost, or anything like that? Or
it wasn't until like our second event where we like hit a hiccup. It was like. Our first event was a major success, and then our second event was like, we tried to book like some people in Perth, and we booked them as headliners, and we're like, well, you guys are huge, and we put we knew they would pull people, but we put like too much faith in them. It's like if someone, I don't know how to put it. It's like. We thought they would pull more people than like they did, and then the venue, like the layout, wasn't as like we didn't put much thought into it. We went to the Retrobite.
Okay, so like the basement area.
We booked the main hall.
The main hall, really? Yeah. Holy shit! Okay, so everyone goes to the basement. Like the main hall is pretty big, isn't it? Like,
go big or go home, mate. Like we're here to make waves. We're here to go big.
Yeah.
But yeah, we booked the main hall, and like even though ticket sales were good, because the Retrobite, the smokers area, like up the top, and there's a bar up there, and you can smoke, like, and everyone in the drum and bass scene, what do? Smoke. So everyone spent their time up on the top floor, and they only really went down to
just like have a little bit of a gander.
A little bit of gander, but for the people they came to see. So even though the ticket sales were like good, the turnout in the actual hall wasn't that like as good as we would have liked it. Like there were two sets. It was like packed and like really good, but just like I kind of felt bad for the DJs we booked, like because
yeah, that's it. When they're playing to like 20, 30, 40 people, wherever it is, it's not a packed room. It's not what you expected, kind of thing. But that's what it's hard to do that with multi-story venues.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's 100% a thing. Like, what's another multi-story venue in Perth?
Metro City.
Yeah.
It's got 3 stories, eh?
Well, that's
different because like even if you're in Smokers area, all you have to do is walk like 5 meters and you can see the stage.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, but shit, I don't know. I think that's it. That's it. We don't really have a lot of clubs here in Perth. Big clubs, do we?
Well, we do and we don't. Like I think
it'd be like booking at Metropolis Fremantle. Like the main stage is like down the back.
Yeah, and then the upstairs part of it.
Yeah. End of the venue.
Maybe.
No, Metro's
Badlands Bar. Maybe Badlands Bar. I guess you could say it's not multi-story, but it's 3 rooms.
Yeah. It's pretty separate.
Yeah, it's really separate. Like if you move to one area, you're never gonna see like the main stage unless you want to. Yeah.
So then with that, like, so after the second event, so the lead up to the second event, you just put you put too much faith, did you say, in like the headliners, and then they just didn't...
like, don't get me wrong, like the headliners we booked are amazing DJs, and I love their music and I love everything they do, but I just think like we got too hyped on the fact of like post-lockdown boom, and then we're like, oh yeah, we can go huge, and then it didn't really pay off, and we're like, well, this is a good learning curve, and basically, we're young. We're just like, we're throwing events because we love drum and bass. We're throwing events because, we want to share our love with everyone. And it didn't really work out. We're like, okay, well, we're not going to let that knock us.
Well, that's it. Like, that's the biggest thing about it. We just got back on the
horse and organised another event.
That's a good thing, though, because it's like, you can throw 5 good events and have one bad event. But then if you have one bad event, don't let that take you go, don't let that make you go, oh, no, we can't do it anymore. Just, as you said, get back up on the horse and keep trying. Because you never know what's going to happen. Like, eventually it could be triple the size. Like, it's all about spreading the word, sharing the knowledge, and getting your event out into the public kind of thing. Yeah. Like, Rome wasn't built in a day. Like, it's how it is.
So, I mean, no matter what happens, like, I love drum and bass. And even though the short amount of time I've spent in the scene, I've fallen in love with the scene. Like, the people are so nice, and we're all there for one reason, and that's we love this music.
Yeah, to get down, have a boogie, and just have a great time.
Exactly. And if I can share that with the people of Perth, then I'm going to keep doing it.
That's a good way to do it. Yeah,
I'm only here for fun. Like, if I can have an amazing time just mixing and people enjoy it and want to hear more, then I'll keep going.
So how many events have you thrown so far?
3.
Oh, you've just
3.
Just 3. No
we just had 3 a week and a half ago. I think it'd be about a week and a half ago.
Yeah, because then that was at the sewing room, right? And
then, that was the sewing room.
That's the one you got kicked out of, right, Damo?
Well, I got a bit too drunk.
That was so funny. You got to pull the photos up for it now, please.
Drum and bass does things.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I had
a bit too much.
I had a lot of alcohol delivered to the green room that night after my set, and I was stumbling out of there. Like, I had to pack up the extra gear we bought, and I was like, yeah, that goes there. I think that goes there. And so just stumbled out of the green. It was
did you hire the equipment or?
No, so it's my own equipment.
Okay, really? So you supply your own equipment for your own events?
Yeah, well, half.
Okay,
So the sewing room is furnished to have, like, they have got a mixer and 2 CDJs. Yep. But when mixing drum and bass, like, you need 4. Like, you can't get away with 2. So I bring 2 extra CDJs. And then, at the end of the night, I'd pack them all up, settle everything with the venue, and then head off.
So then how do you find your DJs for your events as well? Like, they're just all mates or like?
It's, a couple of them are mates, but something I pride myself on is the fact that I like to take new up-and-coming DJs or like bedroom DJs and give them a chance, like a shot. Because I think, the last Shed we had 3 bedroom DJs like that haven't played out much, and I was like, they sent me in a mix, and they came and supported the Shed before that, and I was like, well, thank you for coming to support us, and I like what you mixed, so I'd love to give you a set.
That's a good way to do it. That's not bad at all, because like that's the thing is like it's just like with what's his name? The guy who owns Nevermind Small Club. I forgot. Ace Bassick. It's just like what he said. It's like with Nevermind, it's like if you want to gig at Nevermind, don't message him because he will probably say no. But if you go and hang out and be like, end up bumping into him and you're just like a local there, then eventually you'll be like, oh, you want a gig? Oh, you DJ? Yeah, go for it.
Exactly.
Because you have to support the scene.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing about it. You can't just rock up and then go home. And it's like there are a few DJs that they just literally get booked for a gig, but then they have to go somewhere else, which is fair because it's like they've got work. It's like with me, like I have half an hour to go somewhere else, kind of thing. But then it's like it's always good to try and lend a helping hand where you can, do this, do that, and just be a good person in a way.
Yeah. When I book a DJ, I kind of want them to like stick around and hear everyone else's set and like.
Well, that's it. Yeah. So then, what else has been happening? Because that's one thing I didn't realize when I booked you. Is like you've only done 3 events, which is still really good. They're successful events, but like where do you want to go? What do you want to do within the music scene?
I want to make my own music.
Yeah,
and that's
production. Yeah,
that was the main goal. As soon as I stepped into this scene, it was always I'll learn to mix and then I'll make my own music.
Yeah.
And I am long off like releasing a track, but I've started and I've made some like bootlegs, like some remixes. I've got 3 bootlegs under my belt, and I've got, see what happens is like, I'll go out for a night, just whatever, have a couple of drinks and then, get home, and then I'll still be like sort of buzzing, and I'll just sit down and just slap a bunch of like things together and then just chuck it on the pile. I don't know the software well enough yet to like actually.
Which software are you using?
I'm using FL.
So
I was using
I'm an FL
Ableton.
supporter, yeah. That's the thing is like everyone says Ableton, but like I've always stuck by FL because I just learnt on that as well. But it's like there's no courses in Perth for FL Studio. I found.
Exactly.
Lab 6 used to do one, but I think the guy that taught that moved over east or something happened and he doesn't do it anymore. And it sucks because like
I find like the interface on FL is a lot more, I guess, dynamic for me and like easier to understand.
That's it. It's just because like you've just got like, you know, your instrument rack, you've got the timeline, and you've got your library on the side in a way. And
then you got a mixer where you can like just plug everything into, which is so nice.
And so like I tried to use Ableton ages and ages ago, and I wanted to do like an Australia Day mashup thing. Where it's like, because I had a launch pad and I tried to do, I think it was like 63 different songs and cut different sections out of it to try and do like a, have you ever heard of Medeon at all?
No.
So Medeon, he was like I think he was 15-year-old kid, and he literally did that. He just like got a whole bunch of songs and then just did a video recording of him just playing this song just by hitting the different buttons on the launchpad.
Launchpads are crazy.
And I tried to do that, but I was like, this is too hard. Like, how the fuck does this kid do this kind of thing? But it's just practice. It's all just practice.
So, yeah, I've been it's all practice, and I put a lot of my spare time into it. So I've got a few bootlegs that I've made, but they're version 1s, and the idea behind how I categorize them is a version 1 is a song that I've or a remix that I've made, but it's not like ready for release and it's not ready to be played on its own, but it can be double dropped.
Okay.
So like I took what was it? Do you know Let It Rock? It was like When I Arrive. That one.
Yeah, that classic cheesy song.
Yeah,
it's
classic.
A pop song. Yeah.
So I made my own bootleg of that, like sped it up and then put like some bass into it and like all that. But at the end of the day, I designed and cut and chopped the lyrics to drop it with Gravity by Metric, and it's naughty. It's like a naughty double drop. Like the only reason I made that was just to be dropped with like Metric. It's nowhere near ready to be released. And then I made a 17 bootleg as well. Which
17?
You ain't even missing me, baby.
No,
I got your back. Like we're still 17. I'm gonna fight. Oh yeah, it's like it's a hell poppy song that's like 120 BPM, but like it's hell slow. So when you speed it up to 170, it's like actually like pretty vibey.
Quick. Yeah.
And then because it's I think it's like F minor or something. So that song, the bass isn't that good just because I don't know the software and I can't put like good bass into the song. So it's a version 1 and I can drop it with like all these bassy tracks in F minor and it goes hard like Lock, Stock and like Bunker and like all that. It double drops with them so well. But yeah, that's what I mean. Like, so that's the next step for me. I want to produce, and I've started, but I'm nowhere near like releasing.
Well, the thing is, though, it just sounds like you're on your pathway to try and actually do some good things in a way.
I want to, yeah.
But then you said you were classically trained in piano. So like, how long did you play piano for and stuff like that?
I started playing piano when I was 4. I believe.
No shit. And like you still play it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got a lot of music knowledge behind me of like keys and like what works and how to do chord
that's
progression.
That's the fundamentals of it. Like, so like even for me, like, sometimes like, I'll admit this because I don't think I've admitted this before, but it's one of those things where it's like, when I go out and about, like I said earlier, it's like I just open my laptop and I have 32,000 songs to select from. But it's like when you're on the fly and you're trying new things, I've got it on as my desktop background, the circle of fifths, but it's like I'll try and play things in key, and I try my hardest to play things in key, but sometimes when you're on the clock, you've only got 20 seconds to find a new track or 30 seconds to be able to mix something in, then it's like, okay, oh shit, that does sound alright, throw some effects on it, just try and make it work, and then the punters usually don't really notice. Like,
the average person doesn't really notice when it's out of key. It's only the trained ear that will really know. It's the same with like slight beat matching as well. Yeah. Like when you come out of a set and you'll be like, oh, I swear I mucked up like 5 things, like incorrectly did or misbeat matched 5 times. Someone else who's trained to will hear it like 3 times, and people who aren't trained to hear that kind of stuff will be like, I only heard it once.
There's a lot of prejudice with that as well. Like there are people out there that are just like, no, it has to be in key, it has to do this, it has to do that. But it makes sense because then it is like musically correct.
Yeah.
But then it's like with drums. Like we had this discussion before, didn't we, Damo? Where it's like drums don't really have a key. They do have a key, but they don't have a key at the same time.
Yeah, you can tune. You have the toms have their own sound.
Exactly. Sound. But then it's also one of those things that when the song actually starts coming into the song, then you do notice because then the chords come in, the progression comes in, the vocals come in. You're like, wait a minute, that just like sounds like that. But it's just trying to
layer it all.
Yeah, layer it all and just take people on a journey in a way. But there are so many DJs out there as well that don't know their, circle of fifths or don't know how to do chord progression or anything like that. And they just like get stuck in a way.
Yeah. But I feel like mixing in key is like a good way to start, but it's not something that should bind you. Like a classic, because I was stuck in that rut as well. I was like, oh, you have to mix in key and you can only go like one key above, one key down, or go minor or major. Like that's it. But a classic example broke that for me was like, you can drop, Come Together by Urban Dawn and
I think so.
and then Siren.
Okay.
You can drop those together even though they're 3 keys apart.
Really? And they just sound...
They sound amazing. I think it's one of the best like siren drops there is.
Well, see, my brother mentioned this to me the other day as well, and you can back me up because you've got your diploma in music, don't you, Damo?
Advanced diploma in
music. But it's also where it's like a lot of keys share the same sounds. Not sounds, same...
Chords?
Chords, yeah.
Well,
right.
Yeah, well, they have to.
Yeah, that's like moving
exactly.
up and down the keys though, yeah.
Exactly. So then some songs, it can be in that key, but then they only use specific chords, and you can use another song that will,
and
be...
if that's the same chords.
That's it. But they're in 2 different keys, but then you can kind of make them work and wave them together.
Yeah, but you also got to be careful. You also have to be careful.
Exactly,
that together. When they say music, what they mean is audio. It's actually, I did audio technology. I'm a drummer. I don't know keys. I can play a bit of, I don't know music theory. I'm not a fucking nerd. Like this guy is. Like this
Hang on.
shit.
Wait a minute.
I'm just kidding. No, I love piano. I love keys. It's beautiful.
Well, you're lucky with that because, like, I can imagine your parents are like, all right, you got to learn an instrument in a way. And then the piano is the best thing to learn.
It's a universal instrument.
Yeah,
that's
universal,
it. If you can play the piano, you can
universal.
play almost any instrument in a way. That's what they say, at least.
Or more. You can understand any instrument.
Once you get the fundamentals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, for me, so I learned the piano when I was younger, and I gave that up after about 2-3 years, right?
Yeah.
Then I learned the flute, because the school made me learn the flute. Then I learnt the violin. Then I learnt the cello.
Wait.
Then I learnt the clarinet, right? I'm not even bullshitting.
Are you any
with
good
this.
at these or no?
No. It's just like I went to Bunbury Cathedral Grammar, and every year you had to learn an instrument.
Damn it.
And you had to stick with that instrument. So I couldn't find an instrument that I wanted to stick with. And then I figured out, oh, look, DJing, this is kind of cool. And then went from there.
The best instrument.
Yeah, that's it. Because I can play all of the instruments. But that's just like where my beginning was almost in a way.
You should learn violin. You can do cool ass violin, like live stage
Violin's
DJing.
fucking hard to play.
It is, but if you can pull it
pretty
off.
full on. Like,
right.
I mean, what's your opinion on the violin, bro?
Oh, it sounds good. It's a pretty instrument, but I don't think I'd put it on my list of things to learn.
Yeah, that's it.
Evidently, neither could this guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as I said,
Got him.
I was like, what, 16? Something like that when I was learning?
Yeah, that's too old. Too old to learn the
like
violin. Too
28
dumb.
now, yeah.
But you can learn it now. Yeah.
So then with that, I should have written up some notes.
Actually, I got a question, man. Benny, do you mind if I ask, man? How old are you, bro?
I'm 22.
Damn, bro. I knew it. You're younger than me, man. I was going to say, like, you got a real, like...
Put the
you got a
camera,
good energy.
camera on you when you talk, Damo.
I don't want to.
Yeah, no, you gotta. There we go.
No,
Wrong one.
Shut up. It's a lot of
here
fun.
we go. And it's unfocused.
Shut the fuck up.
Go back onto you. There we go.
No, but...
All right, now
so Benny G has a lot of... He has a lot of... Out there, it's not... Sorry.
Come on. Are you camera shy?
A little bit.
Oh my God, this guy.
This guy.
This guy. How many episodes have we done together now?
40? About 40?
No, like 20?
In this podcast, but everything 40.
Yeah.
But no, but what I was trying to say is... All right, you're right. All right. It's in focus now. Great.
Yeah, good. Yeah, come on.
I'm sorry about that, Benny.
Don't be sorry.
All right, so Benny, so you're 22, man. You've just had 3 events. You seem to be getting your shit together in the music scene. Do you find that being a bit younger, do you find that If you find like you have a mentor, sort of like a mentoring relationship with any older sort of DJs, any older sort of event planners as well. Are there any guys in the scene who are a lot of experience, 30 plus, and they look at you and they're going, hey, this kid actually might have some potential. Have anyone ever taken you under the wing yet, or are you still sort of on the lookout for that, or did you ever actually take that?
Yeah, that's actually a very good question, because the way I broke onto the scene wasn't conventional. Yeah. So I just sort of like came out of nowhere and just started throwing my own drum and bass night with my partner, of course, my business partner. Yeah. And I don't know. I feel like it's not confirmed, but I feel like there's some people on the scene that aren't too happy with the idea of me just being all like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna throw my own drum and bass event. I'm gonna get like younger generation DJs and new people, get new people into the scene, and just do my own thing, like within respect. Like, of course I wouldn't throw an event on the same night as like these other events, but like the scene's huge here in Perth. I didn't really go through that whole phase of like, oh, I'm just a bedroom DJ releasing like my mixes on SoundCloud, and then some like person seeing my mix and be like, hey, this kid's pretty good. I just kind of just went, like balls deep pretty much, and just like committed. But there is one person I'd like to give a shout out to, and his name is Kieran Dib, and he's the dude who runs Opendeckfest. And he's actually like the nicest bloke ever, and he shares my passion for the scene, which is just like, we love drum and bass, we're all here to hear drum and bass. And he's running an event called Opendeckfest, which is about just getting bedroom DJs or people who enjoy drum and bass and want to play but haven't really had a chance to. And he's running those like weekly or like fortnightly events.
Because what night is that on? I've seen that.
That's a Wednesday night at the Sewing Room.
Yeah, because
and those actually are pretty good. I've been going to like all of them just to like scout out and sort of just see what the vibe is and the people who are playing. And it's actually like the level of talent here in Perth is crazy. But like no one's really sort of taken me under my wing, and a lot of the lessons I've had to learn on my own. Yeah. Just be like, oh, I'm going to do this, and people thought that of what I did, so either I should do it again or like that's probably not the best idea.
Yeah, or do it in a different way.
Do it in a different way. Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, like I respect all these people who are doing things in the scene, but like I love drum and bass, so I'm just gonna keep throwing my night, and until it doesn't work out, then I'll stop. But if it's working, then it is what it is. That's pretty good. That's the way to do it, though. It'd be nice to have a mentor. It'd be nice to have someone to tell me, be all like, oh, you should not do this. Like, these are the mistakes I made, and you should not do them. But no one's really like stepped up to that yet. So
might I like quickly say something? We got some the comment section.
Oh, already?
Yeah, already. It's really good. It's very early on tonight. We like to do it where
we're popular tonight.
Yeah, we're always popular, mate. Because we got a great host.
Oh, thank
you. As we were saying tonight, we like to do this thing where, like, whenever there's some like a room for it, we like to try and read out the comments. If that's cool, man.
Yeah, of course.
So, Brad Manuel at the start of the show goes ledge. Like Brad Manuel.
Brad's a G. I like that guy. He's a legend.
Yeah. Kai Marinko goes nut. Danny Brettia goes king. And Kai Marinko says, he shared S1, which is like one of your like video. I believe it's of you actually. Let's show this one.
Oh yeah, that's the Retrobite.
Yeah, we can't.
That night was mental.
That's the Retrobite.
So that's Spoilers 1 up there.
Spoilers 1. So he's like an MC.
No. Spoilers 1's dude I'm DJing with.
Okay, well, keep showing the video.
No, there's only 17 clips, and also I'm worried that we're gonna play something like it's easy to hit audio.
Yeah,
we got no copyright strike.
But yeah, he's my business partner. He's the dude I went into Shed with, and yeah, mad love for Spoilers. We both share the same passion for drum and bass, and we just love what we do and just doing that kind of stuff. And the other guy you saw up on there was AJ, also known as Specs.
Okay.
And international bad man. He's like international legend from the UK. I think I met him at a Nightlife gig or whatever after the event finished, and we were all just like sloshed out of our minds, just chatting shit. And then Specs is just like, oh yeah, I'm an MC dude. And we sort of chatted a bit, exchanged contacts, and I was like, Specs. A little bit after, I was like, Specs, like, be my MC. Like, you're a legend. And then that just sparked like an amazing friendship because he also shares the same passion. And like that's the kind of people I want to get on at Shed. Just like people who love drum and bass and mad love for Specs. And everyone loves Specs. Like people come to see not only drum and bass, but the performance that like Specs lays down. Like, I've heard so many good things. Like all my friends are like, your MC is mental. He's so good. And I was like, yeah, I love Specs.
That's pretty good though. And like even getting an MC on, like your third event and getting an MC, that's like,
I think
was he there for the first one as well, or?
No, I had a different MC for the first one.
Okay.
But like when I started mixing drum and bass and was gonna have like an actual event, I did my research and it became like obvious to me, well, like from my point of view, that MCs make sets like with drum and bass. I think the DJ should be just like, you know, mixing. And the way I mix, because I learned like my idols are like A.M.C, Andy C, Kanine, like Friction. And the way they mix is just like fast paced, like mixing, slamming, like drop into drop. If it's a good drop, like leave it out a bit and then slam another one in. I don't really have time to like hype up the crowd. And that's where I think like an MC is the best thing. And I don't really want to do a show without an MC because they interact with the crowd, hype the crowd up. You know, you can go banter back and forth. Like last Shed, I would do a dirty, like naughty drop, and then everyone would be like, "What is that?" And then my MC would be like, "No, pull it, reload." And I'd be like, "All right," and then drop it again. Like that kind of stuff. It's a performance. Like when you're up on the decks, it's a performance. And I want to make amazing music, and my MC is gonna just hype up the crowd, and I think that's what that's drum and bass is amazing. Like people love that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that's exactly it, because at the end of the day as well, it is almost a performance. Like I've said this to a few of my TAFE mates as well, where it's like when I go up on stage, I'm a bit of a jester, like a joker almost, and it's like I'll play, you know. Wait, what?
I was going to say, no, sorry, please continue. No, I wasn't saying...
don't point at me.
I'm not pointing at you, I'm saying. No,
mate. But it's like, sorry. I'll do things where I'll play. So, in my opinion, when I go out and play, and like this is the way I look at it with a lot of DJs as well. It's like, it's not about what you play, it's about how you play it, in a way. Right. Yeah. And a lot of people out there, like event managers and bookers and the whole lot, you know, they'll get upset. Say, for example, if you go and play Ed Sheeran at a pub, right? But in my opinion, right, is that you don't play the whole fucking song. You play the best parts of the song because there are a bunch of girls that will probably like Ed Sheeran. You play to the crowd.
Yeah.
You play to the venue. You play to how the place will work in a way. And you know, like when I say Ed Sheeran, it's like, you know, I'll also go out and play stuff like, you know, I'll play Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'll play things like the Pokemon theme song if the crowd's enjoying it.
Everyone knows those songs, and people who have had a few drinks love to scream those songs out.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, you know, I've got, what's his name? Richard Cheese, I think it is. Cheese. Yeah, so there's a guy called Richard Cheese, right? And he's booked in Las Vegas. And he's got like his own little show thing, but he does covers of things like Killing in the Name of, you know, Disturbed for what's that song?
Let the bodies.
Yeah, let the bodies hit the floor, and like he does it in a specific way where it's kind of like a. How do you explain it? It's like jazz, but it's not.
It's lounge.
Yeah, it's like lounge, but it's like. I play a version of Welcome to the Jungle, right? And so what I do is like I've got this little trick where, you know, it's the build up and he just goes, "Oh, welcome to the jungle." Like it's all just like, you know, a bit of a. It's like a piss take, but it's quite funny, right? But like if I'm at 140 BPM, 130 or something like that, that's at like 90. And I'll play that. And with that build up, everyone just kind of looks at you and goes, what the fuck's going on? But then what I'll do is like, I'll actually do a delay effect at a specific part, like 20 seconds into it, and then go into like Missy Elliott or something like that, or some sort of hip hop. Because in that way, it's like, instead of going from 130 to literally just hip hop, and you can notice the difference, it's like you throw something in between it, and then everyone's just like, wait a minute, he's playing the Pokemon theme song, but then you go into Beat It by Michael Jackson, and then it's just like the party just starts up again in a way. But that's where it's the performance, it's the entertainment in a way, because no one likes a DJ that just stands in the corner and just presses play.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. Unless you interact with the crowd, or like, you know, another example is I've got a bit of a drinking problem at the moment, but like I'll play the tequila song, right? And I'll actually run down to the bar so that everyone sees the DJ leave the booth, sprint down to the bar, get 2 shots of tequila, run back to the DJ booth, and then when it goes tequila, just like, tequila! It's like things like that.
People love that.
That's
exactly that makes you memorable as well.
That's exactly it. And that's where it's like, what I find is in the music industry, you got to be unique. Like Perth is big, but Perth is small at the same time. And it's one of those things where it's like, unless you do something that no one else is trying to do, well then how do you differentiate yourself from being like, not, because everyone does their own thing, you know? People do AV sets, people do this, people do that. People do their own unique thing when they go out and about and play. But you don't want to be just like everybody else, or you don't want to be just like that niche group. So like I said, I'll do things like I'll play Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but I'll play Notorious B.I.G. over the top. So that way I'll go, Notorious, and all that. And it's like, yeah, hi guys.
So that's what it is. People want to hear things that are unique. Like as soon as you can predict a drop or like a mix that's coming, like, it gets boring.
That's exactly
like,
it.
That's what DJs are there for. They like just make a performance, make something unique, something you won't be able to hear on Spotify or SoundCloud.
That's it.
And that's, people love that.
That's exactly it. And like big commendments to you as well for getting the MC involved, because it's like, I mean, there are drum and bass events that do have MCs, but the thing is though, it's like if you're doing it in a specific way and you're trying to make it like memorable, it will be memorable. And that's what you need in this industry.
Yeah. And yeah, we were pretty fortunate as well, along the lines of memorable. We have a guy on our team who's really amazing at videography, and he did the after movies for Shed 1 and Shed 2, which were up on our Facebook, which you just saw. And the production quality that this man is putting out, like his name's like @Anthony Chin.
Shout out to that guy.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. Is phenomenal. It's just amazing. We got him along. We're like, oh yeah, make an after movie for us. And I was like, well, he's good. So I was like, the quality I'm expecting is like up here, but what he delivered was just like
that's
through
it.
the roof. And then advertising those after movies, the responses and like the comments were like, what is this? And what is this new event that's crazy?
That's it. And that's the biggest thing about running events in these days, and like trying to make it in the music industry as well, is that you need the social media behind you. You need something to back you up, so that when people are like goldfish these days, because they've got the attention span less than 4 seconds.
Absolutely. And have like short memories as well.
Short memories and the whole lot. But when you see them scrolling on their newsfeed, it's like, oh, that looks sick. And that's the thing. That's what captures them, because it's all about your phone, and it's so bad, but it's the way the world is. That
don't move with the times.
Absolutely.
That's it.
In fact, it's funny you bring up. We have a guy called Kai Cocken. He goes controversial, and then Callum Preston goes, and there's also, speaking of Anthony Chin. Anthony Chin's actually in the comments.
Legend.
He says, and I quote, "You're a fraud, and you owe him $2,500." He said, "Why did it take so long to pay him? Why did it take 3 months to pay him?" Like,
I don't know what he's talking about. After each shed, we paid him. After the first shed, we paid him for his after movie, and then after the second shed, it's. I really don't want to get into it, because it's like it's all resolved now. But there was just like some internal like mix-ups where. Bottom line was, he was like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of Shed, and we like got him on board. And then afterwards there was just like some altercations, and he didn't want to be a part of Shed anymore. And then it just took us a bit of time to like sort out that altercation. But at the end of the day, like we paid him his like invoice for both videos that he made, and I still have respect for him. Like, he's a good bloke. The quality he puts out is amazing. And I'd be more than happy to get him again. It's a little bit hurt that he would comment something like that, because I like to think that like that little altercation, which at the end of the day it was a massive mix-up and just misunderstanding, and I would have liked to keep it internal, but you know I will. I'm going to keep it internal. So all you need to know is that we have paid him, and that's why we have the videos out. And I will still work with him again. Like, I think the quality he puts out is amazing. So. Of course.
Well, that's it as well. That's one of those things that can happen with running events, where, you know, things don't always go as planned, I guess. Like, it's just,
things can get muddy.
Things can get muddy. Like, yeah.
Business can ruin friendships, and
that's it. Yeah,
it's hard. And we thought we were better than that, and we thought we could do it, but you know, it's at the end of the day, that's what happened, and it breaks my heart that something like that did happen. But Shed is amazing. I love Shed. I love drum and bass, and that's my priority. And I'm going to keep putting everything I have into it.
Yeah. So. All right, off the negatives. Let's try and bring it back up.
Bring it back up. Apologies for that.
So,
Shed Shenanigans. How long have you been working with the sewing room for, actually?
Our first event was September 11th, the Friday night. So
nice.
Was that intentional?
No affiliation. But that was that, and we've been working with them since. They're an amazing venue. Like, I can't. They were called something before lockdown. The sewing room.
It was Wolf Lane.
It was Wolf Lane was. It was.
What was it actually? Yeah, it was.
No, Wolf Lane is the street. This is like the alleyway. But
that's.
But it's always been called the sewing room. So
really?
Since 2017, but there's like bars around it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that probably just got changed in the. But the sewing room's been an institution since like 2017, 2016. I've played there a few times with my band.
Well, they do help a lot of local talents.
Yeah, mad respect for the sewing room. Like what they've got set up there is just sort of like an idea that fresh and local talent should have a stage, and I have mad respect for it. I love everyone at the sewing room. Everything they're doing is just helping the scene. It's not helping only our scene. Like they run events for everything. Like, I was there a couple of weeks back for a hip hop night, and that was mental. Like, I wasn't really that like, you know, being all like, oh, I'm gonna go to that for sure, because, you know, I don't really do much else apart from drum and bass. But a friend eventually dragged me along to it, and it was amazing. Like the venue's great, and anyone and everyone can really just host events there, and
they have a lot of message them, right?
Yeah, they do, and they have a lot. They used to have this Thursday night event where you just have, it was for free. It was just for like really small, like just like legit high school guys to go in with their bands, like their first ever gig, and then they would play, and they would like go in lineups with like way bigger local bands and stuff. It's a really cool venue that lets everyone just have a turn, which is really cool.
Because they used to run Friday Night Rinse. Yeah. Which was a drum and bass thing where they'd get just like random DJs and just give them a bar card and be like, here you go, play, and blah, 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 blah. And I featured on that back to back with Spoilers, of course, and that was amazing. That was our first ever gig out at Friday Night Rinse.
How long ago was that?
Oh, that has to be like before September. It has to be like, I don't remember the exact date, but it was definitely before like September. So,
because that was just like, because Ambar closed, and then I'm pretty sure they popped up not too long after Friday Night Rinse, and they started doing events all over the place, I'm pretty sure, and then they ended up settling in the sewing room, I think.
Yeah, right.
I think. Don't quote me on that.
I thought Friday Night Rinse was an event thrown by Sewing Room.
Oh, maybe.
I think that might be. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I'll look into it.
Time to Google this.
Yeah, of course. But like, you know, shout out to.
But yeah, so they've their Friday Night Rinse has like been a little bit replaced by Opendeckfest, but at the end of the day, they're both doing the same thing, which is amazing. I think like just get as many people into the scene as possible. That's what I'm about.
Well, that's it, yeah. It's the biggest thing about the industry is like you got to lend a helping hand to everyone in a way. You know, I say this about the podcast as well. It's like, you know, you can get someone on, and then 5 years later they could be the next Empire of the Sun or something like that. You never know. Like, you give someone their very first gig, and then they could be producing a shit ton of music, and then bam, they're touring the world, and you're like, oh, I knew that guy. Like, it was like, do a shout out to me. Help my podcast.
Plug.
please plug. And when you come back on. help me with my views.
It was a sewing room event that basically, and ever since has basically gone like around Perth. From what it seems.
Can you pull it up?
Yeah, I can. I'll pull it up now. Yeah, of course. This is so essentially like it started in July of. There was a big one in July of last year that it was going from 10 to 3:15. But so it's always been like a pretty big drum and bass scene. And I know Sewing Room is like it is the venue for drum and bass. Like they even do psytrance, which you can never hear from anywhere other than
bush stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Don't hear it in a mainstream bar.
The Newport Hotel started doing psytrance a while ago, but I'm pretty sure that was just before COVID happened.
Yeah, so didn't even have time
And like
to
that
germinate.
was just like, pun?
Didn't even have time to germinate into a thing.
Well, that's it. But like the crew were going down there, like the old Scotto crew that I used to hang out with, they were going down there and they were repping that hard. Like, I mean, I was surprised because I was at the time I was actually playing in Fremantle to the streets of Fremantle. Like I was booked by a bar to stand in this window and play from midday to like 9 p.m. It was so good.
Far out.
Yeah,
That's a hectic set.
Yeah, it was all right. Like I actually did one of my longest sets there. I did 11 and a half hours there one night. And it was so much fun. But the thing is with that is like one night, just saw my mates just like walking past and like, what the fuck are you guys doing in Freo? Oh, you got like, it's 3 p.m., 4 p.m. They're like, oh, the Prog Psytrance Newport. I'm like, okay. That's pretty cool in the afternoon on Sunday.
Yeah, that's sick. Well, speaking of sewing room, shout out to sewing. Is that you, bro?
Yeah.
the blender event and sewing room.
But no, that's not the sewing room. That's at Rosemount.
Oh, that's the Rosemount?
Yeah, that was Terrence and Phillip. I think it was. I can't. It wasn't Terrence and Phillip's own event. It was something else. It was. Can't remember what it was. Oh, it's at the bottom. Duh. Blender.
Yeah, Blender.
But yeah, they booked Terrence and Phillip, and I think I was losing my mind to the Can't Stop Bear Up remix.
Oh.
Which is a naughty thing. But yeah, there's so many photos going around of me just losing my mind to just some filthy naughty drop. So
Yeah, nice, bro.
yeah, that's in the background there. That's old mate Anthony,
Nice.
legend videographer.
Yeah. I was going to ask as well. So like you're at uni, right?
Yeah, I am.
Have you thought about trying to run any uni parties or uni events or anything like that?
Yeah. Sober represent.
There you go. Yeah, hold up for that.
Yeah, it's I've only just started at UWA this year.
Okay. Yeah.
And I ran for a committee position on the sober committee, and I was elected. So
it's not A.M.C anymore. It's changed as.
Well, it's rough because the thing about like uni is it's full of like freshers who have just come out of like high school, and they're all like, oh yeah, we love pop, like we love everything you hear at like the
Flow Rider Low,
Paramount, like all that kind of stuff, and like, oh, we love that music, and they're not really introduced to like the deeper scene that's here in Perth, like dubstep and like drum and bass. And like A.M.C was like, it was founded like Electronic Music Appreciation Society. It was founded on like underground music, like people who appreciate like the more techie side of music. Well, that's what I think.
I was actually a part of it when Curtin.
Oh, so
Yeah, Curtin first joined up with UWA for A.M.C because it used to be called Europhonia back in the day.
Yeah, right.
Because I was at Curtin in 2012, I'm pretty sure, so a while ago. But like, yeah, they did that and they started throwing some wicked parties. But then,
and it was held like techie, hey.
Yeah.
It wasn't like your top 100 kind of stuff.
That's
or like
it,
your top 10.
Well, I would say it's a bit of a mix, but it was more electronic though.
Yeah.
And it was more just like, trying to introduce people to the more electronic side 100%. So.
Yeah. Well, I feel like A.M.C has sort of progressed more to like a mainstream sort of like idea, which is rough because I think that a lot of people should be at least introduced to, this underground scene that we have in Perth that is huge. Like, it's actually huge. I didn't know how big it was until I got into it. I was like, oh, that exists. And then I got involved and I was like, wow, this is huge. So, and it's not their fault. They've just sort of caved to demand.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. What sells tickets in a way?
Yeah,
right?
they, money talks. And so they play a lot of like,
just commercial,
like slight remixes. But if it's too techie, then like, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
And I tried playing a bit at A.M.C and played like some drum and bass stuff, like not like actual drum and bass, like neurofunk or like heavy Kanine stuff or whatever. It was sort of like sing along drum and bass. Well, the stuff I consider sing along, which is like Core, the Flight bootleg, like
like
Siren
as well, or
not really liquidy, but sort of like Dancefloor drum and bass, that kind of stuff you can sing along to, which is like Siren, Solar System, like Desire. I even got a heap of like remixes and bootlegs of pop songs that have been turned into drum and bass. Like was that Flume song that Echo and Sidetrack remixed? It was Rushing Back. that kind of stuff. But yeah, they were like, oh no, that's too heavy. Like we can't play that, it's too heavy. Which it's just rough because that's what I thought EMS was about. But at the end of the day, like Sober is the uni club that I'm part of, and it's an ironic name because we love partying, we love dubstep, we love drum and bass, and we love just like getting on the piss, and it is amazing. So
Yeah.
So you were telling me just before we started as well. It's like, so why is it called Sober now? It's all that. Elaborate a little bit. What's happened recently? Sober. There it is.
Sober, yeah, established in 2008. It's just a frat. It's just actually I better not say it. It's not a frat. It's a party club where we drink very responsibly.
Oh, all right. That's very unique.
It's a social club. It's a social club. And everyone in the club is just amazing, and we're all there to just have a good time and just be friends, really.
Yeah.
So
well, that's what's so good about uni as well. That's one thing I miss about it so much. It's just like it's the community with it. Like I met so many people at uni, I had so many fun times and so many experiences. And Damo, can you go on my Facebook? I got to pull this up.
I will. Yeah.
There's a photo of me tied to a post. Like,
yeah, all right, I'll go through.
Yeah, so the story is that since I was from Bustleton, right, I was like, it's a little bit of a story. I'll make it quick. But I was bullied at school when I was younger, right? And when I was bullied, I was extremely bullied to the point where I actually basically had no friends and just like sat on the silver bench outside the classroom by myself, majority of the time for like the whole of year 11, right? Sorry, year 10. Then I left in year 11, right? So when I went to uni and I moved to Perth, I thought, well, when I go to uni, I'm leaving my home in Bustleton. I can be whoever I want to be. I can say what I want to do and do whatever I want to do as long as it's legal and this and that and blah, blah, blah.
Boom.
But the thing is like, if you go to uni and you want to be social and you want to try and be an extrovert and you want to have a good time and this and that, you'll just meet so many people. So I was staying on campus, right? And since I had already been DJing in Bustleton, I actually thought, well, let's just have parties on campus kind of thing. So I brought all my equipment and I used to just throw parties in my flat and stuff like that. So I managed to get, out of the 220 people that lived at Erica Underwood at Curtin University, I got like 170 of them at one house party I threw. So much fun, right? So I brought all these people together, managed to make so many friendships and just all this and all that. And then I got kicked out at the beginning of semester 2 because I was only there for one semester, right? So at the beginning of semester 2, have you found the photo, Dave?
I found.
Pull it up.
Yeah.
You got to show this. So I got
that's
woken
some
up.
ritual shit, bro.
Yeah, that's it. I got woken up, right? So
Is that you waking up?
I threw a party, right? And with this party, what ended up happening was I didn't realize that the day after they were letting new people into my unit to show them the place, right? And there was a goon bag stuck to the floor. Someone had run off with a twister mat and they actually pinned me for the twister mat. That's why I got kicked out, right? And so what ended up happening was when I found out I got kicked out, I threw another party, like going away party, right? And so the day after that, I was super hungover. I got woken up by one of my good mates and that bloke there, they tackled me, dragged me downstairs and taped me to a pole for about 5-6 hours, right? And then they treated me like one of those teddy bears and wrote goodbye all over me. And that was my
and they
farewell.
wrote their names. I love how they all wrote all the names and like the years.
Oh, that's amazing. See, that's campus culture right there.
That's it.
That is amazing.
That's what's so good about uni. It was just
so glad to be a part of that.
Yeah, so much fun. And so that's what I mean, like, that's the culture, and you can meet so many people at university. And now that I've been out of uni, it's kind of like, it's hard to meet good people.
Yeah.
Well, it's not hard to meet good people because there are so many good people out there.
Especially
but it's like you make so many good friendships at uni because it's just like you're younger and you're in it in a way.
You're like,
if you get what I mean.
exactly. There's a lot of pressure, so when you have good times, you're going to have a great time.
Because now it's like, for me, when I go to work, and everyone's a workmate.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of hard to build friendships out of those work places.
Yeah.
But it's like, you know, being a DJ, it's like what I said, it's like you can stick around, but when the pub closes, you know, everyone has their staffy, you stick around for staffies and everyone goes home.
Everyone goes home.
And then you can't really hang out on the weekends because you're always working on the weekends and then it's hard to keep things up to date. That's one thing. Be careful with like getting into the DJing world and stuff like that, because then it's like you throw parties, you do this, you do that, but then to keep everyone involved and keep all your mates, it's like you got to make sure they rock up to your events almost and stuff. Like it's a tricky thing to balance.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
know what you mean.
Yeah. So that's my end of my rant.
Of course. We appreciate it. Yeah, no, you're right though. It's,
Yeah.
Uni's great for that. I remember my time at uni. Funny enough, Mahalo is the
Mahalo?
Yeah, Mahalo.
Yeah, he's a G. Shout out Mahalo. What a legend.
Shout out, man. Yeah, he's a great dude. Yeah, he's very funny. Of course, he's the guy, the treasurer for that.
So you know him?
I know him. Yeah.
Oh,
I went to like we had like there's ecoms actually.
Yeah.
Ecoms is like yeah. Shout out to ecoms, bro. Like come on. But we had like after parties and I can't really say what happened, but let's just say it was just after the corona lockdown. It was like the night where you could have 10 people in a room basically. And yeah, we had a great time on campus. That's all I can say about that night. That's all I can say about that night.
We had a great time.
We had a great time. Everyone had a great time. Yeah. All 10 of us. All exact number.
The law requires that I say 10.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So have you been to many uni parties or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've been to the Ecoms ball a couple of times. Biggest ball out of all the unis.
Yeah.
Huge.
It is mental. It is
insane.
Where do they host it? Because I've heard of that.
End of the year, I think it's like around September.
But like what venue or anything like that?
HBF Stadium.
No shit.
It's huge. They like have full stage lighting, like festival stacks of sound gear. It is crazy. And it's just, I think there was something like, 80 tables or something? Even 100
Fucking
tables?
hell.
It's crazy. Food, average. Time, amazing.
That's what you want though, right?
Exactly.
Like, is it a bar tab or anything like that as well?
Yeah, unlimited piss.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
That
because
tops it off.
it's
Can't go wrong.
It's a financial investment.
They know what they're doing with money.
they know how to keep everyone in.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, Mahalo's like a G. Like, he's part of Sober.
he is.
And he's like, the way he leads us is just, it's so obnoxious but hilarious.
He is. He's a fucking general, man. He's taking you to war. You know what I'm saying? That's like
Definitely. Like today, you guys know Prosh, right?
Yeah, kind of.
The newspaper, like the mock newspaper, Prosh. Yeah, today was like the Prosh Olympics, which is like, side note, like all the clubs participate in Prosh. Like they go out to all the venues. Prosh, shout out Prosh. Be sure to buy it next Wednesday. And they go out to all these locations in Perth, like all the clubs go together, and then they just sell Prosh, and it's for a good cause. I believe it's for sick kids or something. I think it's like
it is. It seems to be. It's for this one's about dogs and dogs refuge, fair game, short back and sidewalk. So it's basically about making sure animal welfare, that sort of stuff, good stuff.
Yeah, so it's a good cause. And today was a little fun event at uni. That's why I'm like all dressed up. Prosh Olympics, which is just like a bunch of games where all the clubs compete, and then whoever places like first, second, third gets like the good placements of Prosh, which is like the city. That's a good place. Everyone else will be sent out to like, some high schools, like private high schools and all that. But like, it's so much fun. And yeah, Mahalo was like our team leader today, and he brought a Vuvuzela and he was just like blowing on it.
God,
so obnoxious.
Things are so annoying.
So funny. Had the best time ever.
I've played a gig before where I've had 3 people whip those things out of their bags. And it's just like when I'm trying to DJ, he's like, oh my God, like what is that?
You just need to drop foghorns, then they match.
Those bloody things. It's ridiculous.
I'll never forget South Africa when every kid, like every WOG, every WOG after the FIFA World Cup, like they just were whipping that out. And we were at primary school, we're just blowing their teachers. And eventually they took it off us, of course.
Got banned.
Yeah. That was a great week, though. That was a great week. Did not last longer than that, though.
So what are some of your favorite events and like places? Where's your local hangout in a way, other than Shed Shenanigans?
Well, yeah, like the scene here in Perth is just so big and so just full of people that there's a drum and bass event on every weekend.
Yeah, basically.
Like, I did the thing. I went to clubs for a year. Like, I used to hang out at Metropolis Fremantle. Like, it was amazing. But then after a while, I got kind of like sick and tired of club culture, and I wanted to be a part of a scene where like
well, the club culture can be quite dirty. Like, not singling Metro's Frere out, but
all of them.
All of them basically.
Yeah, and it's like you're on the dance floor and you're trying to have a good time, but everyone is just sort of in their own little circles, and you get pushed and bumped, and like it's. I don't know. After a while, I was like, this isn't fun anymore. I don't enjoy it. If I'm going to go to a club, like I'll either sit in smokers and occasionally venture to the mosh, but then like you'll just get pushed around and like your drink will get knocked. And
and that's why I really think that the rise of bush doofs has kind of taken off, because it's just everyone is kind of, they're not over nightclubs, but they're over like the people that go to nightclubs in a way, where you get the dickheads and the turbos and the cake faces and just like the people that are just, they're kind of just idiotic and fake, and they're looking out for a fight and stuff like that. Like the amount of times I've seen fights in like Northbridge and stuff like that, and it's like, it's not to say Northbridge is a bad place, because I have to walk the streets there every day to go to bloody TAFE. But it's like, it's just crazy sometimes the people you see out and about.
Yeah, exactly.
And the shit they get up to and stuff like that.
Yeah. And that's another reason I fell in love with like the drum and bass scene, is because like everyone like in the mosh, even though they like rinse out, they have a good time, and sort of like there's occasional death circle. Like occasional. But everyone just sort of like sits around, not sit, but like stands around, vibes out, rinses out, but they're all facing the DJ.
That's it.
Like you're there for the DJ. And I was at Shock One's Dark Machine warehouse, and I was in like a death circle, and I was like bumping around, yoking people, that kind of stuff. And then I got like tripped over, and I fell over, and I was on the ground. I was like, holy shit, like this is it. I'm going to die. Someone's going to like trample me, and that's it. And some dude that I don't even know out of nowhere just came and just like picked me up. And I was like,
thank you,
bro. Thank you.
So but that's exactly it. And that's where it's like, the culture differences from different places, it's just like it can change dramatically, honestly. So even with the house and the techno scene as well, like they're all peace-loving, great people almost.
Exactly. And that's like, so my local haunt isn't a haunt. It isn't like a place. It's wherever the drum and bass is.
Yeah.
Like, there's an event every weekend. Like last weekend I went to Mighty Mix-Up, Andy's all vinyl event.
Oh really?
Naughty.
Was that good?
Yeah, it's so good at the Rosebound. It was like, no, I'm not gonna lie. I went in because I love modern drum and bass, and I was like, oh, I have respect for jungle. Like jungle created the scene. Like, I love jungle, but at the same time,
the roots of it. Yeah.
Like it's not really my vibe. You know what I mean? Like, I can still get down to it. But and I went there and I was like, oh yeah. And I get in there and just like Defire and like all these people were just dropping these naughty vinyl tunes. And I'm like, what is going on? And then this Saturday I went to Blender, like last Saturday, and it was freaking so good. Then you go from like vinyl to full on like pop drum and bass, like dancefloor drum and bass. Amazing. This weekend I'm going to Sub Era, like Terrence and Phillip.
Yeah, shout out to Josh Crofton. He's a good mate of mine. I love him.
He's a G.
Him and Mark are so good. Him, Mark, and Ned. I don't think Mark's a part of it anymore, but him and Ned are just, they're OGs. They're amazing guys. I love getting him on, talking to them about their events and the whole lot.
Yeah, you love to, anyone who's making the scene bigger and just like doing drum and bass, like, geez. So like, that's what I mean. Like every weekend, I'm just at some. Yeah, there it is. Shout out that one. Yeah. First birthday. Oh, and Specs is on that lineup as well.
Sub Era's first birthday. No, they've been around longer than that.
I wouldn't know.
It's at the sewing room as well.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good. So I just go to a drum and bass gig. Yeah, ticketed.
Yep.
Every weekend, like don't go to clubs anymore. Just go wherever the drum and bass is.
Have you had, with your events, have you had much problem with the scammers and stuff like that at all?
Oh yeah, it's such like,
because that's, Josh was telling me, and that's a huge thing, and I never knew it was a huge thing until he told me. But like, what happened?
Yeah, it is a huge thing. It's like every post you make, like there's just people commenting and be like, oh, I'm selling these tickets, like selling. And at the end and then because we don't have posts, like anyone can post to the page, you got to request to. Our like requests are like backed up of people who are like, oh, trying to sell tickets, blah blah blah. It's like, dude, if you want to sell a ticket, just go to Perth Drum and Bass. Like they you can sell your tickets there. But like, and you're stuck between like a sort of a rock and a hard place. Well, not really, but like, do you delete the comments or do you leave them there because people find them funny? Like it's funny that people are like, oh yeah, I'm trying to sell my tickets as like this excuse. But at the end of the day, I haven't had a problem where anyone's like actually fallen for a scam.
That's good.
But they do flood the page.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like, I can imagine when people do try and buy those tickets and then they get scammed out of it, they'll probably hit up the promoter and be like, well, I got scammed reimburse me or something like that, or what are you going to do about it? And you can't really do anything because they could be in Vietnam. Like, who knows where they could be and stuff. Like,
True. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you're just like, don't do it. Like, tickets are only like $10. Like, and it's especially funny when people are trying to sell their tickets when like on-like tickets haven't even sold out yet. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's exactly. And that's where you can really just see through it almost. Like, unless it's like 3 or 4 days before the event, then yeah. Have we had many more comments or anything, Damo?
No, not really. No. It's no, it's not. It's usually just we usually only have them for like half an hour, and then everyone
drops off.
It's Tuesday night, man. Everyone's gone to bed.
Oh, don't say that. People do tune in to this.
People tune in, bro. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Yeah. So we've got 15 minutes left. 10-15 as well.
Damn, it's already been an hour.
I've had like
minutes.
way too many fluids.
It's already been an hour.
Quick like intermission. Quick go pee.
Yeah, if you want. Yeah, go for it.
Too many fluids.
Yeah, Damo, take the hot seat. Damo's taking the hot seat.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, how you going? Yeah,
enjoying it tonight.
Tonight's a bit of it. So now you're not camera shy. What is this shit?
I just don't like. I don't. It's a lot of pressure when it's just me. When it's actually us having a conversation,
bullshit.
It's very lovely.
You're a co-host. Take more role. I want you on the camera more. You pretty man.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
And it also shows off the mural board as well.
It does actually. Let's go. Boom. Check out the mural. Well, it's better because I'm not there. So now they can really see the mural for what it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful work of art. Look at that thing.
So what else can we ask this guy? I really should have prepared notes. Like,
let's do it.
This is my bad on behalf of being a manager. Like,
fine. No, I'm enjoying tonight, man. Let's come up with like, well, we got the stories, man, but like, the banners and all that Shed Shenanigans. I'm curious about all that, man.
What about print material? We could ask him about that. Like, I mean, banners and like, I wonder if he's got one of those things. When you were there for his event, did you see like a Shed Shenanigans thing in front of the DJ booth?
Yeah, there was one. Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to find out where he bought, where he gets that shit.
I want to know how he I want to know about the crew. So, what the crew has just started because of which is a party in the shed after COVID.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
So
all right,
that was quick. All right, so we found out. We figured out some questions.
Cool. I'll pour everything out.
Yeah. So Damo was saying that when he went to your last event, you had a banner out the front of your DJ booth.
Over the discs or not?
No.
It's just like I swear to God, I saw Shed Shenanigans.
You were too drunk.
I was too drunk. Sorry.
It's on the list.
Okay.
We want to get a banner and some stickers.
Yeah, stickers aren't actually that expensive. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we've looked into it, so I think
you
next
just
event
slap them everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely invade the sewing room with like Shed Shenanigans stickers. We've got to finalize our logo though first, and then we'll get it up. Yeah.
So wait, who came up? How did you come up with the name Shed Shenanigans?
Was it just after that very first Shed party, or?
Yeah. So spoilers one, after his like birthday party. Yeah. That was the name that they came up with, and like Shed. Yeah. And from there we were like, well, it's a great name and it's catchy and a few people already know it, and me and Felix were just like, spoilers, we took it to the next level. So.
Well, that's the way to do it, right? You just one after the other and then bam, like kind of thing.
Yeah. I think spoilers had the name and like the idea for a little bit, but it wasn't until like after that when we were both like, let's do it. Like, let's go big.
Let's go big. Yeah, TV's DJ name is Square One. You go by
swapped
TV.
now.
You swapped to TV?
No, I go under Infra-Red DJs now.
Infra-Red.
It kind of sucks because I forgot to pay my ABN.
Cancelled.
That's it.
So now it's a creative rebranding, bro, for tax reasons.
Exactly, for tax reasons, and also to make sure I get paid. Because apparently after a while they'll go, well, this ABN is no longer valid. You're not getting paid anymore. Oh, okay, like maybe I should change it. I'm now the IR DJ.
Beautiful. Yeah, well, everything's born out of just good times, mate. So
yeah, exactly.
Should we do the 5 random questions?
Do you have any prepared? No. I got a couple prepared.
Demo,
I'm having a question. Listen, man, I'll take over.
Yeah. Camera on you.
Boy,
all right. There you go.
So I'd be in front of the camera in that seat. Maybe less camera shot.
Yeah, stare at the camera.
So my boy over here, actually, he's got like a pretty cool hat going on, Bass Watch. So I was gonna say, like, have you been involved with them at all? Is it just like a cool little thing? You get a bit of a shout out, or you just having good times?
I didn't go to the first one. But then I saw the after movie and video after the first one.
Yeah.
I was like,
You're just like, fuck, I gotta be part of
That's actually pretty cool. So I've been to the last 2, and how could I not buy some of this merch? Like, it's a visor, and it comes in red, black, and yellow. So it matches like all outfits. Catch me walking around uni with like this hat on. You gotta rep it. I love what, Andy, godfather of like Perth drum and bass. Love what he's doing. And yeah, the merch is just a way of saying like, thank you. I appreciate what you're doing. And yeah,
well, he's been around forever, and he's been doing so much good for the scene for such a long time. Like back in the day at the Velvet Lounge, because at the Flying Scotsman, back in the back end of it, Velvet Lounge with the Liquid Lounge they used to run, that was just amazing. The nights I've been there for that, when I've also been working as a glassy and running in just to try and hang out with them, it's just so much fun. So like just such good crew.
Yeah.
Amazing crew.
Good.
Yeah, I'd love to get more involved with Basswatch, and I'm sure that will come with time.
Yeah, that's it. Just keep trying and trying and trying. You never know what doors it could open, and see where you go, kind of thing.
Yeah, because once again, like, because I have my own event and I just like sort of burst onto the scene, I didn't really have that chance of going through, because Andy, he's always finding new people, getting him on High Life, and then getting them on other events, just giving them their shot. But because I have Shed, that I already have like a way into the scene, so it's a little bit harder for me to get like onto these events. But I'm sure like one day, I'd love to be a part of it. And I see Andy all the time. I saw him at Mighty Mix Up at the vinyl event and had a good yarn with him, and he's a good bloke, and I'd love to get more involved with Basswatch. One day I would love to play at Basswatch.
We'll just keep going, and then you never know, you might get a gig. And if you can bring people, well, that's even a bigger plus as well.
Shout out to the last Basswatch event.
Shout out Basswatch. That's gonna be sick. I got my ticket to that already.
Beautiful. Oh wait, no, this is
the last one.
No, this is Basswatch episode 4. That's what you're talking about? Next Saturday?
Yeah. Wait, is it next Saturday?
It's the Saturday after. Sorry, Saturday after.
Saturday after. Yeah, because I remember that's going to be a stacked day. Because you go from Basswatch, you got to go home, have a tiny little nap, and then you go on a Floatus. Yeah. That's going to be a stacked Saturday. So good.
There you go, man. It's a big Saturday session. What else can you have out in Scarbs?
Well, is it in Scarbs?
This is Indian Hotel. Yeah.
So I've never been there, but it's just like, it's so good that it's a pool. But it's a party at the same time.
And the decks are right in front of the pool as well.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be in front of the DJ, you're in the pool. And if it's a hot summer day, like, last one, I put on, this hat, had my sunnies on, sat in a donut, just floated around for like an hour, just listening to drum and bass. It was so good.
It just sounds like such a fun day, honestly. I really need to go to one, but I'm always working. Always working, bro. And by the sounds of it, soon, shout out to Scarborough Beach Bar. They're doing not fine dining. They're doing a late brunch thing.
Yeah, like soon. A brunch. Yeah.
So by the sounds of it, I'm going to be playing from 3 p.m. to midnight every Sunday soon.
Ooh.
And I can't wait. I'm super excited for it because they're just long sets. But at the same time, it's going to be like, oh my God, how am I going to just keep doing that?
You'll live for it. You'll find a way.
You'll find a way,
and how many hours is that as well? 3 to midnight.
That's a full working day, bro. That's actually longer. That's actually 3 to 12. That's actually 9 hours. Yeah. That's 1 hour more than a working day.
No breaks.
No breaks in this train, bro.
The only breaks you get is when you put on a song, run to the bar, get a drink.
That's it, and I do that. Or also go to the toilet as well.
Yeah, go like put on like a 10-minute, put on like a deaf, like a stoner metal song that goes on for 20 minutes, and so you can go to that's for the long bathroom session.
Honestly,
go get a kebab,
exactly.
a drink.
Honestly, my go-to song usually is Blue Monday by New Order because it goes for 6.5 minutes.
And have you developed the perfect the perfect bathroom system? Apologies.
Yeah.
That it's just like you've timed your shit to almost like an F1 pit crew.
No,
like you're in there and you're ready.
No, so you shit before, right? That's the first step.
Rookie era.
Rookie. But
no, the real rookie era is not getting your adult diapers on when you're like partying on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But if you need to go to piss, then I always just say, just load up one song, like think about it like 2-3 songs ahead and go, okay, I'll play this song which goes for 4.5 minutes, and then I know this song will work with that one, and then I can just bugger off, come back, and just mix it in.
Okay,
I got practice.
I got a second random question. Actually, it's based off that. You ever thought about doing like a good old piss jug, bro?
Piss
like
jug?
really like let's say
What
you're
the
up on
hell's a piss
stage.
jug?
You don't know what a piss jug is,
No.
bro. I'm about to teach you. This is what you should be merchandising to other DJs. Well, okay,
Go
so
on.
basically,
Shed branded piss jugs.
yeah, man. It's like what you do is you grab those little, the camel water, the camel water,
Camelbacks, yeah.
the camelbacks, camel water bottles.
Oh.
But you have like a catheter, so no matter what happens, it's like people are like, well, that's a pretty sick backpack. You're like, yeah, bro. Why do you think I've been DJing for 12-hour sets without taking a break once? Do you know why, man? Infra-Red camel backpacks, aka piss jugs. And what do you think about that, man?
Red with an IR on.
Damn right, bro. So they know, so they know what it's for, but they have too much respect for the DJs to really question it.
Oh my god, piss jugs! I'll throw that in the maybe
Thank you.
list.
Hell yeah, bro.
Merchandise.
That's a real merchandise.
Yeah.
Becomes a number one seller in DJ accessories.
Yeah, forget the headphones.
Yeah,
Piss jug.
That's it. Well, that's a good question as well. What headphones do you use?
Oh,
The HD2s or whatever they are?
no, they're called AI
really?
modular 2s or something.
No way.
TMA2.
Yeah, I think so. Those ones.
My old camera guy, Mitch, swears by those headphones.
Yeah, they're
Loves
so
them.
good.
Yeah.
Like, I've used a lot of headphones, and I don't know, because when you're like trying to beat match and hear those kick in the stairs, them. I swear by those, because the sound quality that's coming out of them is just so like pure and clear, and it's just so easy. I've used a lot of headphones and I've had trouble like hearing the kick and the snare like line up, but I would go as far to say as those headphones put out the same as like a booth monitor, like crystal clear.
Just gotta be careful of how loud they can go as well.
Yeah,
we figured this out in TAFE. Where it's like,
Yeah, if it's above 80,
80?
above 80 decibels, you
Yeah.
have about 4 hours, and then once it hits 83, you have 4. Then 86 2, and then it's every extra 3 decibels you halve the amount of time before it starts damaging your ears.
I'm so cautious about my ears. Like, my booth monitors get like turned down when I'm on stage. My headphones aren't that loud, and when I'm not on stage, I have in like proper ear raisers, like earplugs.
Good man.
For me, I just turn it
Smart
up
man.
as loud as can go. Honestly, just like create the party. Like at Scarborough Beach Bar, I've actually got a PA that's literally faced like here, pointing at me. So it's like less than a meter, and I turn that thing up fucking loud,
So bad.
just to try and start the party, because that's the only PA speaker I've got. In a way, like they've got the house system, but that's the one closest to the one in the DJ booth that I can try and turn a little bit to try and just get a dance floor.
Like, that's strat.
Yeah,
I see that.
it's all just making things work. Anyway,
Yeah.
I was going to ask as well, one last question. What's the hardest thing you've found about learning how to DJ? And the easiest thing as well.
Wow, that's a good question.
Thank you.
I would probably say the hardest thing for me learning, I wouldn't say like learning to DJ, but like making that step from bedroom to club was beat matching. So all of the time I was just, looking at the waveforms, which were like stacked on top of each other with the controller, and just lining those up and be like, okay, I beat matched. But then when you go to CDJs, like actually trying to listen to the kick and the snare to actually line them up properly without like, syncing. And if you're going to use sync, you need to make sure your beat grid's like lined up
Spot on,
entirely.
yeah. And so that's the biggest thing as well, just quickly, is that sometimes when you go to analyze stuff, it does this in Tractor. Sometimes it'll actually go off the snare, not the kick.
Yeah.
So you have to actually put it into the kick kind of thing.
So I think that'd be the hardest thing for me, and I'm still learning as well. Like, I can still figure it out, but every now and then I won't be able to like line it up entirely, and then like for the first 2 bars of the drop, you'll hear like the tiniest sort of mismatch, but then like picking it up from there. Easiest thing, I would have to say for me the easiest thing was just song selection and what to mix with what. Like I from early on, I was just like watching YouTubers online just explain, and I was completely like sort of learned off YouTube, like watching tutorials, and a lot of DJs were like mixed in key, and then that kind of stuff. So the easiest thing for me was getting all my music, running it through mixed in key, and then putting it into record box, and then just mixing everything as long as it was in key, it would almost work.
That's it, yeah.
So I think that'd be the easiest thing for me.
Like, because if you play something A minor and A minor, you can just throw it over the top of each other and it's just basically seamless.
As long as vocals don't clash, like, boom.
Yeah.
You make some pretty good drops.
But see, one thing I have noticed as well, like so many people say as long as vocals don't clash, if you put the vocals like half a beat out almost, then you can kind of like play with it almost. Like, so
use the effects.
It's hard to explain, but it's like, you know, I think it's a Fergie song and it's something else. I can't remember, but I think it's like a Fergie song, a Calvin Harris song actually I do it with. But the way you can do it is like, yeah, you can play like, you loop the bounce from Calvin Harris, right? And then you play it over, I can't remember what song it is, but it's just like, you can actually sort of just like bounce, bounce, and it's just in the intermittent parts, and there's usually like a little bit of a gap.
Yeah.
So you can play it in the background and kind of just make it work.
So yeah, because that like whole bounce thing, I don't really consider that vocals. I consider that like more of a backing track.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a sample almost. Yeah.
Yeah, sampling. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up anyway. I should have written up some notes.
No, we've done. This has been an hour and a half. Man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, all right. Perfect. Well, I'm half a bowl of wine deep anyway. So.
Love to see it.
Yeah, bro. We've got that party atmosphere, god damn it.
That's it, yeah. I got a drinking problem, god damn it.
Hey, man.
Yeah, you and everyone else in the scene.
That's it.
Hey, man, it's not a drinking problem. We need a drinking solution.
Yep.
That's what we need, bro.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming on, honestly.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a bit of an eye-opener as well, just like how, you know, like to literally come out of COVID and just run your first event in a way. So many people are in the scene first, then try and run their own event, or try and get gigs here and do this and do that, and then try and like make their baby steps towards running an event. But you just went straight at it.
Yeah.
So like, congrats on that. Like, it's
thank you very much.
Like, it's one of those things where it can be hard to do and daunting to do, but you fucking did it. And you're going to keep doing it by the looks of it, so that's a good thing. Like,
yeah, I mean, there were times, and there still are times where I sort of look at it and I'm like, is this worth it? Like, do I love it? You know, this is too hard. But, you know, once you've organized everything, you're on the night and everyone's having a good time, and then, you know, you get up on the decks and like, it's all worth it. Like, it's so worth it. Just the amount of people enjoy it, and then afterwards people be like, that was sick. I love it when you did this. Like, that drop was just insane. Like, it all makes it worth it.
But that's exactly it. It's creating memories. And that's the best part about it. That's why I love, like, I know it sounds stupid, but that's why I love being an open format DJ. Like, because I play everything. If someone gives me a gig to play techno, I'll play techno. Drum and bass, I'll play drum and bass. But when I go and play somewhere like Scarborough Beach Bowl, my residency at the moment, you know, when I actually see people, it's just like, I don't know, some old couple get up and dance. It's like, oh, look, they're having fun. They're enjoying their night. And when they come up and actually like give me a, you know, thank you or this or that, it's like, oh, I made
makes it all worth it.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing about the industry is like, if you can make your punters and your customers have a good time, well, then you're doing your job. You're doing your job straight up.
Exactly.
And it shouldn't be about the money, but like I said, I'm full-time and this is all I do.
Money helps, pays the bills.
Exactly, it pays the bills. But it's just like being able to create long-lasting memories or this or that, it's so much better. It just makes it worth it.
100%. Yeah, every shed that I've done is a memory that I will never forget.
That's it.
And pre's and kick-ons, both of them. Like the stories that come out of those, just ridiculous antics, just unforgettable.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Thank you, Damo, for doing your Damo thing. I
appreciate that.
I'm so happy you're finally getting on camera a bit more.
You've been pushing this for a while.
Yeah, a little bit. Just
I'm doing it for you because I love you. Because I love
like
this guy.
40 episodes.
That's true.
All right.
So, can I just say one last thing?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Shout out to Shed Shenanigans. We've got our next event coming up. It will be on April 30th. Please go check us out on Facebook. The event will be live very soon, and we'd love to see you all there.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bam. You heard it first.
It's an Infra-Red exclusive.
Yeah, that's it.
Exactly.
So this is episode 67.
67, brother.
All right. And next week, we have, I'm pretty sure we've got a guy called Drew Wilson on.
Drew Wilson.
And Drew literally is one of the co-founders of Blossom, the bush doof.
The bush doof.
I'm not even kidding.
It's insane.
Like, he helped start the whole fucking thing up. And
big ups.
he approached me and I was like, yes, I'll have you on. Yes, I'd love to talk about that. So that's exciting. So
That's a bit insane.
yep. So very keen to talk to that guy about everything bush stuff. So yeah, should be good.
Oh yeah.
We will see. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe, blah 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 blah. Do all that shit for us
Yeah.
and just help out the local community, please.
Pop up whenever you can.
Yeah.
And we'll put all the links to the Shed Shenanigans to this episode below so people can click on it whenever they can.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. All right. So this is episode 67, and we will see you next week. Catch ya.
All right, so